The fantasy of Elon Musk to make life multi-planetary is turning out to be more achievable consistently. The key to his plan is the SpaceX's first operational spaceport, which is currently being built with a brisk pace out in the boondocks in South Texas. The SpaceX South Texas dispatch site, alluded to by SpaceX as Starbase, are known as the Boca Chica dispatch site. This is a private rocket creation office, test site, and spaceport built by SpaceX, situated at Boca Chica, roughly 32 kilometers east of Brownsville, Texas, on the U.S. Gulf Coast. But do you know what's within the dispatch site? Well, watch this video till the end as we'll give you a striking look inside the SpaceX dispatch site, the Starbase. Hello guys, welcome to Tech Power. And today in this video, we'll look inside SpaceX dispatch site, the Starbase. But before starting this fantastic video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest and interesting news. So let's get started. First things first, it's important to ask what made Musk choose Texas to be his home base. Let me tell you, after selecting California as the place where many of the most brilliant minds in the field of engineering and technology are located, Florida was considered an obvious choice due to its deep space-related heritage. However, the Boca Chica site in the south and at the border of Mexico is more advantageous for a variety of reasons in the first place because it's located close to the equator, which means rockets can benefit from Earth's natural rotation to accelerate away from gravity on Earth. Texas for Musk has also been a softer approach to the oversight of regulatory agencies, meaning that he can accelerate faster than more litigious states such as California, Florida's Kennedy Space Center, and Cape Canaveral Space Force stations. Texas authorities went over and above to lure SpaceX in the direction of the state by easing the state legislation regarding noise levels and allowing temporary closing of state beaches to aid in SpaceX's ambitious testing schedule. However, the ground is broken at Boca Chica in the fall of 2014. But what's the situation 7 years later? The launch site that is completely different from the manufacturing facility, located just a few miles away, is now the construction project site. The massive cranes are currently the higher end of construction that each company averages thousands of dollars per day. Musk requires more cranes. He calls and asks for one as speed is always Musk's overriding concern. The Boca Chica launch complex could be roughly divided into two distinct areas. The suborbital launch pad in the western part of the facility is where all of the Starship's prototypes have been tested, some being more explosive than others. The twin launch pads for suborbital launches, Pad A and Pad B, are serviced by a small tank farm serving SpaceX for a long time. This portion is currently being shadowed by the impressive Stage 0, as the Stage 0 announcement by Elon Musk includes everything required to launch and capture the rocket. When it comes to design, the philosophy of SpaceX can be summarized as build, fail, redesign, fly. One thing that keeps it unique from every other space company is that whenever they find an issue with a rocket, they modify it and then build another one. Firstly, they need to utilize the QD or Quick Disconnect time arm. The retractable QD was specifically designed to pump propellant liquid methane and liquid oxygen to the heavy booster rocket. This clearly states that Musk's vision of making mankind multi-planetary hinges on being able to reuse rockets rapidly, similar to how jet airliners today can fly several trips in one day. To accomplish this, the largest flying object, the fully stacked Starship, requires a precise and accurate landing system to achieve this, and the giant arms referred to as chopsticks are set to be placed on top of the massive launch tower. They will think of catching the descending booster and ship using pins attached to the rocket body or hanging onto the reinforced grid fins on the ship. After being caught by the chopstick arms, the spacecraft will be able to move between the treads using tanks, which means that the craft will be placed more precisely on an engine or launch table. The launch table itself is supported by 6 massive steel supports buried deep into Texas soil and weighs 370 tons, which took about a year to build. It'll need to be sturdy since the fully loaded stack, when completed, will weigh 5,000 tons. The launch table also includes an all-day use system that utilizes running water to minimize noise. The water for the deluge is supplied through the nearby tank farm, which has slowly taken form over the last few months. The GSE, which translates to the Ground Support Equipment or Orbital Tank Farm, is the biggest of its kind in the world. It comprises of 6 massive containers that measure a maximum of 30 meters in height, which may appear similar to longtime SpaceX observers. That's because they're built from the same 4mm thick steel cylinders utilized to create the rockets. However, in response to this, Musk said, "How do we make it inexpensive?" with existing components that don't need expensive tools or new designs? Well, you might think in the event that you're smart and are aware of these issues, but the fuel for rockets used by Musk isn't able to be contained in steel 4mm thick tanks, and the fuel for cryogenic rockets is indeed stored in 7 tanks. While the third holds water for the deluge system that we talked about, it warmed up in a way that isn't acceptable. Therefore, engineers have put a sleeve around the tanks to seal the gap between tanks and shells with an insulating gas. The tanks can now hold liquid methane or liquid oxygen for days or even weeks at a time. If you think that the fuel store is close to launching pads, you don't need to worry about the tanks because it holds enough fuel to fill one stack. So after the missile has finished taking off, the tank will not be full. This is the main idea. However, engineers originally believed fuel could be delivered to the rocket by pipes that were buried. Still, the QD-arm approach was preferred because it cut down the amount of hardware needed and the rocket's weight. However, not everyone is thrilled with the progress of Musk. The Federal Aviation Authority has suggested that it might require SpaceX to tear the tower down since it isn't clear if it meets the requirements of planning regulations. Incredibly, the FAA is believed to have only learned about the tower after watching an online video of it where SpaceX was recently confronted with a legal challenge by the Dallas Petroleum Company that previously owned a piece of the land currently by Starbase. The group had hoped it could stake its claim on the whales that were not active at Boca Chica could allow it to put an end to Musk's plans. However, the all-powerful Commission on Railroads of Texas determined that Musk's plans to construct natural gas-powered power plants to extract liquid methane out of the ground were more credible in worth. The launch location will look like it would be utilized to test pre-flight launches of orbital rockets such as an SN-20 before they're stacked on the tower. What does the future for the Boca Chica for Starbase? The plans tell us that an orbital launch pad, additional landing pad, and 2 test stands for structural testing will be added to the existing set of structures at the launch site. The Starhopper will be located near the entry point to the facility, although Texas is, as we have said, not a heavy touch in terms of regulations. However, the need to allow beach access during weekends will eventually cause operational problems. Musk is trying to work it out in the manner that his boring business has had meetings with officials from the county government to consider the idea of building tunnels, but it's far from the sky at present. Musk's long-term goal is to integrate the region into the city of the Starbase. This will need the company to leap through many hoops, but if anyone could achieve this feat, it's Musk. This is because he's aware of the developments that will occur in the dark corner of the US in the next few years, and according to what the man who's the current king of space declared of his baffling chopsticks plan. Success isn't certain, but it's exciting. What do you think are Elon's chopsticks in the future for space travel? Or is he going out to eat? Let us know your thoughts on Elon Musk's Starbase by leaving a comment below. Also, if you found this video interesting, then don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.